What's the crack, YouTube? There are people out there who hate Nintendo. They hate their games, they hate their consoles. They hate everything about Nintendo. They hate Nintendo with a passion. They're probably watching this video right now. So listen to every word that comes out of my mouth very carefully. You wouldn't even be talking about games, let alone playing them, if it were not for Nintendo, the company you hate so much. You wouldn't be playing your Gears of War, your Call of Duty, your Battlefield. You wouldn't be playing any of those games on any console if it were not for Nintendo. Because back in 1983, there was a thing called the video game crash. This was a time where nobody was playing video games. Nobody was playing video game consoles. Everybody stopped playing video games. But at this time, a company called Nintendo released the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. This console went on to become the best selling console in history. People were playing video games again, thanks to Nintendo. Not Sony, not Microsoft. Because back in 1983, Sony were making their profits from flat screen TVs and Walkman. Microsoft were making their profits from computer software. There was no PlayStation, there was no Microsoft. Just Nintendo and the Nintendo Entertainment System. So simply put, if it were not for Nintendo, you would not be playing video games right now. And everything I just said there is a fact. If you don't believe me, look it up. Do a Wikipedia search on the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And everything I just said about Nintendo is on that website. Wikipedia. Okay? I'm guessing that you own a PlayStation 3. And if you don't, I'm pretty much guaranteed that you owned a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 1. Either way, you know what a PlayStation is. But did you know this? If it wasn't for Nintendo, there would be a PlayStation. And if you don't believe that, you can also look that up. Because back in the early 90s, Nintendo no longer wanted to use cartridges on their consoles. They wanted to use CD-ROM technology. So Nintendo contacted a company called Sony. They asked Sony to help them create the CD-ROM technology that they wanted to use. So Nintendo and Sony worked together to create this technology. But as time went by, Nintendo no longer wanted to work with Sony. So they contacted Philips and asked Philips to help them create the CD-ROM technology. Now, Nintendo only found out about this at the last minute, and they were not happy. They were pissed off big time. So as time went by, they decided to use the experience that they got from Nintendo in creating consoles and use their CD-ROM technology to create what we know today as the PlayStation. And what's also interesting is long before Nintendo contacted Sony about this CD-ROM technology, the CEO or president of Sony said that they have absolutely no interest in creating video games or video game consoles. So I find it hilarious and interesting that a company like Sony can go from having absolutely no interest in video games to tripping over themselves releasing a video game console the second Nintendo pissed them off. But simply put, there would not be a PlayStation if it were not for Nintendo. And again, if you don't believe me, you can look up every single thing I just said on the internet and you can take their word for it. So I just thought that I'd share these facts with you. So the next time you feel like hating Nintendo, keep those facts in mind. Because you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to like or dislike Nintendo. You're entitled to own a console of your choice. That's your opinion. And I respect opinions. But whatever you say, or whatever you do, you cannot argue against facts. And everything I just said to you is a fact. Nintendo got people playing video games again back in 1983. Long before the PlayStation, long before the Xbox. And Nintendo gave Sony the idea of the PlayStation. So that is all I have to say. So keep those very interesting facts in mind next time you feel like hating Nintendo. Thank you and goodbye.